I'm Jerad Henson. I'm a professor at Christian Brothers University here in Memphis, Tennessee. As you can see behind us, we run about 60 nest boxes on this site. We've got another 15 to 20 on another site in Arkansas. And today we're looking for black-bellied whistling ducks. We've got primarily whistling ducks that use these boxes. We'll get a few hooded mergansers and a few wood ducks as well. Black-bellied whistling ducks are a new resident to the Tennessee area, and we're really trying to just figure out how successful they are this far north and try and put some bans on birds and figure out to and where they're coming from. So that's kind of our goals for this study, and we've got a lot of undergrad students out with us. So we got 4 out this morning. And so I use the boxes and these projects to teach some waterfowl ecology and just ecology in general. How many? 13. 13 and 36.
We got
13 and 36.
We got 3 and 34.
3 and 34.
More eggies.
We got eggs. No birds. Yeah, both boxes have birds. We've got a few boxes. Most of our boxes are single boxes, but since we were looking at brood parasitism and proximity, I did some back-to-back boxes to see if that had an effect on parasitism rates.
Okay.
Not really. It's kind of weird so far. Yeah. Actually, if they use one, they'll use one side primarily, and then they may just dump a few eggs in the other side, and that's about it. But I think we've only gotten one spot where we get back-to-back nesting.
Yeah. So black-bellies are, based on my knowledge, are species that have pretty high rate of incubation constancy. There's not a whole lot of time whenever they're off the nest.
No, and the males incubate too.
Right.
So.
Right. So is it pretty unusual to find eggs without the male or female sitting on them?
It is, and that generally means that something may have happened to a male or female, something happened to the pair. There was some ducks with it. Eight and 33. Not bad. 47's nothing.
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, nothing. Nothing in 44? Okay.
Nope.
Onward.
Nothing.
These boxes are new.
What was that?
So these boxes are new, and we put these out about a month ago. It's kind of strange. You think it's plenty of time for nesting, but hadn't started yet. But in general, it seems like we have to get them out 6 to 8 months in advance for the whistling ducks to actually use them for that nesting season. I guess part of the pair bonding and when they arrive seems to be really important on what time of year you put out your nesting structures.
Oh.
Same one. Hold on, she's got hatched. Yeah. She's got ducklings.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's take care of mama first, and we'll get the ducklings that are on the inside. We've already pulled all the data we need from this girl. We got her last week. This duck is actually a duck that I banded in 2020 at a site about a mile from here. So she's been coming back for a few years now, I guess because she's had success. So Anybody wanna? I know Mike wants to hold a whistling duck.
I'm sure he does.
I never have.
This one's a pretty good one. She's not too crazy. Some of them are mean. They're really about the same body size, a little bit bigger than maybe a wood duck. Just all legs,
Yeah.
necks, and wings. But here's the cool part. Try not to let them all bail. This is our first nest of the season, and they are ready to fledge, so I don't want them to jump out just yet, so we'll let everybody get a shot there. Just hatched out. We'll come back and figure out how many of the eggs actually hatched. Probably later this week. I'm gonna let them go ahead and do their thing. They'll be out in 18 hours, so may stay the rest of the day and bail out tomorrow morning. You can put her right there. I don't want to freak her out too much.
You want it?
So this is a whistling duck nest, and we can actually tell that there's probably a wren nest or something in here before, because there's some moss and stuff added to this nest box. And whistling ducks don't add anything to their nest box for nest material. Wood ducks, hooded mergansers will all pull down feathers out and line the box with down, so it makes it much easier to figure out if you've got a whistling duck nest or a wood duck or a hooded merganser nest. So just a little tidbit there. That's probably part of their kind of tropical roots and evolution. They didn't need the down feathers to help with incubation, since it's generally warm enough to help with them there. And obviously it's warm enough today here too. Yeah, this is the South Memphis wastewater treatment facility. This is the biosolids aspect, or sludge facility. And this is where whistling ducks first started making their appearance in the Memphis area in 2008. It's this site here. It's a really hot bird spot. And so when I started out my tenure track position at Christian Brothers, I wanted to see if we could get whistling ducks to use boxes this far north. So we built some classic Bolin dimension wooden boxes, and you'll see a few of them around here. We switched out to the plastic boxes where we can, because they weigh about 10 to 15 pounds less than the wooden boxes do, which we've much handier, and a lot less maintenance on them. So this is the site where we've been recording. Started with 8 whistling ducks and has actually gotten up to about 225 whistling ducks on this site. This past year we haven't seen that number here, but we're seeing more ducks spread out on the landscape over into Arkansas. I'm seeing pictures up in Eads. I'm seeing pictures of whistling ducks just within about a 20-mile radius in places we've never seen them. So. Tight sitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Awesome. We sat for 4 hours yesterday on a net and never could get more than 3 or 4 on bait at once. They're like geese in family groups. They just fight. So I think this is this year's band, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
$13.
13.
The 13 eggs, what are the chances that they're all hers? Kids. Well, wouldn't be kids, but there's 39.
What is it, clutch size?
You should
Like
ask them to
6 and
He
18.
struggles with it. It's hard.
I would say
So
this is a non-actual full scientific explanation, but I bet you maybe 98%. I bet you there's at least one dump egg in there.
Yeah.
At least one. But she's been a really tight sitter, and that will definitely help prevent other ducks from dumping in that nest, right?
Yeah.
If she's in there, she's gonna fight with them. Like she bit at my phone, the other one bit at my phone. As soon as you stick anything in there, there's some cool stuff that Clemson's done with some videos. I don't know if you've seen those videos from Clemson with whistling ducks fighting a rat snake. In like full-on fight video. So we've already got all the data on this little lady we need, but if you want to know, sometimes these things are called ducks with cat claws.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
yeah.
sharp.
Yeah.
You get cut before you know.
Longer legs.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, so this is a dump box. This is one where brood parasitism goes a little too far. So, do a full egg count. So 34. So 34 eggs, and these eggs are cold. So this nest has been completely abandoned at this point.
So for sure.
That's what it was. It was 34 and then 32.
So these are dead eggs?
So they'll be duds. Yeah, this is an abandoned nest. They got to the point where you saw how big the whistling duck was. There's no way for that whistling duck to physically incubate this many eggs, right? Their bodies just aren't big enough. So normally when they get over about 30 eggs, we'll have abandonment. Every once in a while you'll get it appears to be a young female that will try. We've seen it happen a couple times. I think I had one nest that had 39 eggs in it, and she hatched 5 out of 39. And that same year, later in the year, where I'm pretty sure ambient temperature helped a lot with incubation, we had one hatch 25 out of 39. So, but normally when they get up this many, that hen will give up. So whistling ducks aren't the only thing that use our boxes. Some little bitty guys. I think they're wrens. I think that's what we flushed out of this last week. So songbirds are altricial, so that means that when they hatch out, they need a lot of parental care for at least another 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. So mom and dad will be feeding them for that time, and then they'll get to a fledgling time when they jump out. Whereas ducks are precocial. Once they hatch, they're pretty much good to go. They can feed themselves, get around on their own. They just need mom to show them what to eat and how not to get eaten.
So these are ducks though?
No, these are wrens. These are little songbirds.
The trade-off there is that, so when ducklings hatch, they're precocial, ready to go and can feed themselves on their own, but it takes longer for them to incubate to get to that stage. So their exposure is greater during that, when they're as eggs in the nest. Whereas these guys' incubation period is maybe 2 weeks, and then another 2 weeks for them or so for them to fledge. So the total time from egg laying or from incubation until fledging, well, I shouldn't say fledging, until they're able to feed on their own is about the same, right?
Yep.
So there's sort of a different trade-off, different strategies, ecological, evolutionary strategies there.
And the investment in the egg.
Yeah.
Right. So ducks invest more in the egg itself, more yolk, more lipids, more energy in the yolk. Whereas these guys don't invest as much on the egg itself, but a lot more into parental care after the egg hatches. So a trade-off there in parental care as well.
Yep. Yep. Very angry looking mama.
Get to do a little data collection. So,
oh wow.
There's more than 9 eggs. Last week there were 9 eggs in that box, so you definitely got some dumping going on there.
Pretty small eggs.
They are. They're roughly about the same size as a wood duck egg. I had one a couple years ago that actually had no toenails. None. That was weird.
Now,
And they don't have down.
yeah,
Like little to no down.
Yeah.
Very
do not
little.
develop a brood patch, right?
No. And a lot of that I'm assuming has to do with tropical evolution, right?
environments, yeah.
So, yeah. So there's, I really think we're kind of seeing a really cool aspect of migratory behaviors evolving, right? And a bird that's taking advantage of new resources north, and then. All right,
it's a
we'll take
tremendous
this girl back to the
opportunity.
truck. Pull some blood, put a band. Well, girl, boy, I don't know. We'll find out. I'm assuming a girl, but. So each one of our birds will get a normal USGS federal band here, but they'll also get a plastic band, a red plastic band that helps us ID them with binoculars and things like that. so we don't have to have the bird in hand for a recap. We try to switch which leg we put the male and female color band on. That way, if we do want to do any nest monitoring or any things like that, with game cameras or camera setups, we can determine which of the pairs on the nest by which leg the color band's on.
What size band do these birds take?
7As, just like a
same
mallard.
as a mallard.
Yep. Some of the bigger ones we will have to put a 7 on every once in a while, but pretty rare for these birds. Every once in a while though, you'll get one. It's like, that doesn't quite fit, and I've got a few 7s.
Yeah.
And then here's our red bands. So they've got a 3-digit code, red bottom to top.
So you have to get approval, or they coordinate the collection of all of those numbers and colors?
Yes, and so any auxiliary marker bands are actually pretty tough to get approval for these days for anything like that.
And then super glue is just an additional.
Make sure it stays on. Yeah. And if you're wondering, yes, I have glued my fingers together.
I'm sure.
We're good. We're good.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's it. Can you hold her for a second? Mm-hmm. Him. There you go. All right, well, I guess that's a wrap on this morning's research. I got to get in and go teach, so I wanted to thank everybody for tagging along with us today. I hope y'all learned a little bit about black-bellied whistling ducks and a creature that's really captivated me. Really enjoy talking about it and sharing them with everybody. Hopefully y'all can come out and join us again next time.